So he's the local boy there. And the question here is, the inferences we are drawing is that the Congress NCP is losing its stronghold to NDA. That's point number one. Second point, it was feared that the MNS would eat considerably to the Shiv Sena's vote share, helping the Congress in the process, but I don't see that happening. The third is that post Balasaheb Thackeray, the Shiv Sena continues to be strong electorally, and the MNS hasn't yet at all usurped its position. The fourth point, of course, is this BJP-Shiv Sena alliance. Has it got anything to do with Narendra Modi's focus on Mumbai? You know, he's travelled to Mumbai quite often and he's focused a lot of his campaign there. Let's take it to our panelists, Jitendra Awad and Rahul Narvekar. Jitendra Awad, why is the NCP Congress down to 20 together? Why do you think this is happening?
17.
1 second. 17. It's down to 17. Why is this happening?
I should take it as an alert and take a cautious step. Our party in alliance with the Congress should take a cautious step. It's an alert signal for all of us within the party. So instead of reasoning out that why it is false and why it's true, I think it's an alert for all of us to work.
Okay, Rahul Narvekar, the Shiv Sena continues to go strong. What do you credit this to? How much to Mr. Modi?
Well, Arnab, let me tell you, first and foremost, let me thank all the participants of the C voter survey who've expressed their trust and confidence in the Shiv Sena, and your channel and the C voter survey has given a huge lead to the Shiv Sena. It's probably one of the only parties which is making gains in the state of Maharashtra along with BJP. Remaining parties, NCP, Congress, they're all both projected to go down. And this is solely because of their own doing and the good work that the Shiv Sena has done. If you look at the whole spectrum of Maharashtra politics, it's divided into various regions. You've got the Vidarbha, you've got Paschim Maharashtra, you've got Marathwada, you've got Khandesh, you've got Uttar Maharashtra, you've got Konkan. And in every region, there are issues which people are facing, and they have the Congress and the NCP to blame squarely for it. If you look at Vidarbha, they were hit by bad, a drought situation. Last year, there was absolutely no relief work by the government. This year, they were hit by floods. There is absolutely no relief work by the government. In Vidarbha, Congress NCP will be worst hit. If you come down to Paschim Maharashtra, Western Maharashtra has a plethora of corruption scams opening up. Anna Hazare last week has come up with the huge cooperative sugar factory scam.
Okay.
Along with that, there are several other reasons for the BJP, for the Congress and the NCP to come down.
You mention everything except Narendra Modi. That's very interesting. You mention everything except Narendra Modi. I find that fascinating.
Oh, Arnab, I was giving you some of the reasons.
No, you did not.
So if you would have let me complete, I would have also come down to the Modi factor.
Mr. Rahul Narvekar, there's something to saying it yourself first. Then the UP and Maharashtra got 25 out of 48. Shiv Sena, RPI and BJP get 29 out of 48. I don't want to call it a rout. But Jitendra Awad, if this happens, it will be a rout. Who would you blame? Would you again blame Prithviraj Chavan like you do for everything?
I think the blame game will start only after April. I think we are in the midst of a marathon. And I'm sure those who understand marathon know it for a fact. The person who runs the fastest at the start ends up a little tired. So I know the mood of the voter in April will be different. We can't be so upbeat. We can't be so down. We know how to lead the marathon, and we know how to win the marathon for the last 60 years.
Rahul Narvekar, you're running the marathon, but you know, as I thank you very much, you're the first person who has predicted that the fight will happen after April. I find that interesting. Sankarshan, don't you find that interesting?
No, of course it's interesting. It's also interesting that Narendra Modi was not mentioned.
Yeah, Narendra Modi was not mentioned, despite him saying that Uddhav Thackeray is like my younger brother.
I don't know whether that tells us something about the Sena-Narendra Modi relationship.
You're always looking for trouble in the BJP.
If you would have let me complete, I would have come to the Modi factor also.
Let's go across. Next stage.
When I started with telling you the faults of the Congress and the Rashtrawadis.
He always has things to say that I have grave objections to.
Well, gentlemen, let's move across to the next 4 states. Rahul Narvekar and Jitendra Awad, thank you very much. As I would like to also welcome into our C Voter national poll projection this evening, Chandan Mitra of the BJP and Randeep Singh Surjewala. We are heading up to super prime time. We're getting most of the states in. Keep a look at the top right of your screen because the UPA tally is only at 86. And quickly as the number turns out there, Randeep Surjewala and Chandan Mitra, look at the number. NDA tally is 131. It's already touched the number that it got in 2009. It can only go up higher from here. Randeep Surjewala, Chandan Mitra is looking up at his television set, and the others will be critical for you, Chandan Mitra, because they still hold 88 seats. Our next state which we are picking up is the state of Manipur. Let's get Jay to quickly analyze what's happening in Manipur.
Manipur, the Congress had 2 last time.
Yeah.
The scenario is not changing. It's got 2 again, vis-a-vis 0 for the other parties.
Yeah.
I mean, the BJP and the other parties were expected to be strong in the valley, but not much of a difference.
Yeah.
It's 2-0 again.
Yeah, so the Congress is projected to win both seats as it had done in 2009. Yes. The state has traditionally been a Congress stronghold. Yes. Manipur in the assembly elections, and if I'm not mistaken, Ibobi Singh won his 3rd term as Chief Minister in 2002.
Absolutely.
I find this very interesting that northeastern states, there's a lot of stability coming in terms of leaders of late. Tarun Gogoi, yeah. Ibobi Singh and others. The next state on your screen right now, a state which is seeing some trouble in terms of the huge controversy over the inner line permit of late is Meghalaya, where the Nationalist People's Party started by Sangma is making its debut. What's happening there?
Absolutely. It's very clearly Sangma retaining his home turf. So that's 1 seat. And 1 seat which has traditionally gone to the Congress. The BJP does have some base there, but largely it's a Congress seat, sticks back to the Congress.
Okay, now let's quickly go across to the next state, which is another northeastern state of Mizoram, which sends two members of parliament, one member of parliament in 2009. Yeah. That was a Congress representative. Yeah. Is the Congress going to lose that sole Lok Sabha seat from Mizoram, which it had won in 2009, in fact, with almost 66% of the vote?
Absolutely. You have the MNF, the opposition, picking up the 1 seat here in Mizoram. It's quite much a Tweedledum-Tweedledee situation there.
Well, yeah, very interesting. You want to make a comment on Mizoram?
That all the scheduled tribe votes in the northeast belt going towards the Congress or UP alliance, but in the heartland of India, the tribals clearly disaffected with the UPA and inclined more towards the NDA. So in a sense, that's a governance problem. You've got the 6th schedule and the 5th schedule. The kind of rule that you have for tribals in the northeast clearly working, but one more form of rule not working. Here you've got a slap on the back literally from both the Naxals and the NDA allies. Clearly the sweep in the heartland is towards the NDA.
You know, Manisha, we will also have to respect the growing emergence of regional parties in many of these places, and the fact that apart from the Assam Gana Parishad, in most of the other northeastern states, the regional parties are solidifying themselves over a period of time. In fact, the next state which we are looking at, which is the state of Nagaland, is one such state, where the National Nagaland People's Front won the 2009 parliamentary elections comfortably. It got a vote share of 70.
69.
About 69-70%, right? Absolutely. And the Congress party was some 28-29%.
Absolutely.
Does that continue this time?
Absolutely. A similar scenario is going to repeat with about 69% vote share for the NPF, and the NPF retains that 1 single seat there.
So that's
secession and that kind of news.
So what is the broad story so far? We've been through Assam, Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram. We haven't been through Tripura yet. But we've been through Manipur. We've also been through Arunachal Pradesh. So we've covered 6 northeastern states.
Absolutely.
What is the story in northeastern India? Yeah. Is northeast India being affected by this Modi wave? Or is it seeing this anti-Congress formation build? Or is northeastern India thinking in a different direction?
No, I think it's thinking like most other states. The basic theme is the vote is for leadership. So wherever there's leadership, even if it's in the form of a regional party, they're going for it. In Assam, it's again a vote for leadership.
That's very interesting. Now, so on your right of your screen, you will find right now, if you're watching the national poll projections, that the BJP, the NDA, has already equaled its tally of 132, which it hit the last time. It is at 132. Others are at 102. And the UPA is really trailing behind so far, and we are going to get the full result for you by about 9 o'clock. UPA trailing behind at 96. The next state that we are going to is the state of Orissa. And to tell us the situation in Orissa, which sends 21 members of parliament to the Lok Sabha, and I don't know what the current Lok Sabha position is, but it's very much primarily dominated by the BJD. What's happening in Orissa? Nandita and Jay, it's over to you.
Another state, I think, after Karnataka, where the Congress seems to be making some gains. Not too much of a difference between our July and October surveys. Just one seat increase further from July to October.
Absolutely. Now, the BJP makes gains, touches a vote share of 20%, but again, there is poor conversion. No conversion to seats. The vote share gap between the BJD and the Congress narrows down to 4%, and that is what is creating this result. From a tally of 14-6, it's going down to 12-9. This should, in some way, get the BJD to do a rethink if it needs to actually have some sort of an understanding with at least the left or many more regional forces to ensure that the Congress does not cross the threshold of 10.
I'd like to get Chandan Mitra at this stage and Randeep Surjewala. Nobody knows Orissa better than Chandan Mitra. Perhaps arguably only Naveen Patnaik does. So Chandan Mitra, we are seeing the number from Orissa. I'd like your reaction to that and the overall number which you are seeing right now. There's no stopping Naveen Patnaik, but there is, to be fair, a 3% swing in favor of the BJP since 2009.
Well, for Orissa, Arnab, I think these are early days because the BJP has been picking up and picking up quite rapidly. Yes, agreed that, there has not been much conversion. But once Mr. Modi really begins his full campaign in Orissa, what I saw, the kind of response I saw when he went to Puri Jagannath Dham, it was a spontaneous reaction on the part of the people, and I think there will be a great resonance we shall find there. Naveen Patnaik remains the front runner, there is no question about that, and Congress has been gaining from the anti-incumbency, but I think BJP is picking up, and by the time the elections come around and the results when they are declared, you will see a surprise. BJP will do much better than all the pollsters are predicting.
Okay, Randeep Surjewala, any comment from you on Orissa? Also, the national number, would you be concerned? Because the way the number is going, if the Congress party does not do substantially well or maintain its presence in Uttar Pradesh, then the way the poll projections are going, at least on our channel as of this minute, you will be losing out. You will be in third place behind the NDA, the others, and then only the UPA. Your comments on this worrying situation, does it worry you?
And up two things. On Odisha, I want to just point out one thing. First, the fight there is really between BJD, and the Congress. There is really, BJP really has ceased to be an important factor there. Congress has gained its position back, and Congress has emerged. This is the position both in Bihar and Odisha, two important states where BJP had allies, both of which BJP lost on account of Shri Narendra Modi. While your poll figures are interesting, Arnab, I also want to point out
Sankarshan,
that
put a counter question to you. Sankarshan is questioning your logic. Sankarshan is asking you something.
Orissa Alliance broke in 2009
with less than 5% of the votes. Still. I mean, what is the basis for saying that? I just wanted to, Mr. Surjewala, to clarify.
Yes. I was pointing out that BJP has lost its allies both in the state of Bihar as also in state of Odisha on account of what? On account of the divisive politics of Shri Narendra Modi. So when Shri Mitra speaks about great enthusiasm,
he left in the last election.
Arnab, please inform your Congress spokesperson that he should have his facts right.
Arnab, I only want to add one fact.
BJP alliance broke in 2009.
No, 1 second. Chandan Mitra is saying something to you, Mr. Surjewala. Just a minute. Yeah. Please hear the BJP representative. Yes.
I'm just pointing to Mr. Surjewala's ignorance and pointing out that the BJP-BJD alliance in Odisha broke in 2009. And it had nothing to do with Mr. Narendra Modi. So don't, the Congress tendency of finding Narendra Modi Hawa everywhere, that Narendra Modi is this demonization, I mean, this should stop. This goes completely against the facts.
Okay,
well,
we see at least that. Let's move on to the next state, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the state of Punjab, a state where there is tremendous infighting. A state of Punjab where there is a state you know well, Mr. Surjewala, the state of Punjab, where there is legendary infighting going on between Amrinder Singh and Pratap Singh Bajwa. If I am not mistaken, some unparliamentary language has been used.
Far more serious than that.
Pardon me?
Bajwa has been called a terrorist by Captain Amrinder Singh.
It is alleged, and I underline the word alleged by our political editor, that the Congress party president in the state has been called a terrorist by the former Congress Chief Minister of Punjab, Amrinder Singh. She takes liability for it. 13 seats in Punjab. It was 8-4-1. That is 8 to the Congress, and 4 and 1 to the BJP, Akali Dal and the BJP. What's the situation right now? Nandita and Jay will tell us more about the way Punjab is voting and how it's tracking since July.
Well, of course, in Punjab, the fight is really between the Akalis and the Congress. And remember, in the last assembly election, it was the only one, I think, 2 or 3 decades where an incumbent government continued. And many believe that it's Sukhbir Singh Badal who has really consolidated the Akalis. And that's perhaps one of the major reasons why this gain is showing on our screen.
Absolutely. And post the Modi projection, I'm looking at the vote share gap has widened to 10%. Now in October 2013, you're looking at 47 for the Akali BJP combined and 37 for the Congress. Now let me tell you what is really the worst case scenario. In 1998, we had 50 for the Akali BJP combined and a huge 43 for the Congress. They were just 7% behind. But that resulted in a 13-0 score. I mean, if this is 10%, the Congress really needs to guard out against a 0 or a 1 score in Punjab.
Yeah, I understood that. So the seat shares in Punjab are remaining unaltered, but the Congress party is losing 4% of the shares since July. The NDA has gained 3, and the general view in our panel is that this could be because of the huge infighting that's going on within the Congress party in Punjab. Yes, please.
There are some lessons straight away. There are problems in the BJP-SAD alliance at the state level, very severe problems. They are not impacting on the performance. I mean, the one thing you have to take away from every state is this election is going against the Congress. You can read any other message you may want to. This is a vote against the Congress. At some places, Modi can garner on it. Where you have strong other alternatives, they are gaining from it. But the Congress is just getting wiped out.
I quite get that, but you got some big states to go. By the way, on the top right of your screen right now, the UPA would have just hit over the 100 mark. The UPA is moving at 102, but it's considerably behind the NDA, which is ahead of 140. So this is generally an NDA election. It may not be a Modi wave, but there is an edge post-Modi. There is an edge post-Modi. It's not a Modi wave. There's an edge post-Modi. It's an NDA election this time. And it's the NDA, that is the BJP plus allies, would have a stronger chance of coming into power if this trend continues. We are moving, and now we really have to hurry this up because by 9 o'clock I promised to get you the full national picture, and you must be thinking I'm really trailing myself and my own promise to you. The next state going ahead on our national poll projection sends 25 members of parliament to the Lok Sabha every year. Very big state. Key state going to the elections is the state of Rajasthan. It was 20-4, 20 to the Congress party and 4 to the BJP in 2009, and there is something dramatic that's going to happen in Rajasthan. In fact, something major is happening since July, and it all favors the BJP. Jay and Nandita will again tell us more about what's happening in Rajasthan.
Absolutely. It's a swap of the positions. The BJP now takes 19, the Congress takes 5. The vote shares are almost swapped from 47-37 to 45 now for the BJP and 36 for the Congress. This is more like a winner-takes-all sort of state. So, if this trend continues, even the tally may go above 20.
Why do you think? Madhya Pradesh as well. It looks a lot like Madhya Pradesh, where the BJP is gaining, and then it's gaining again post-July after the assembly election campaign has hit off.
You know, the BJP's vote share goes up 9%, 8% since 2009. That brings 15 seats to it. How is this going to impact nationally?
You know, these are the states where you have a straight one-on-one between the Congress and the BJP. Now, here is a state where Vasundhara Raje is building on anti-incumbency. You've got all the stalwarts of the Congress campaigning there. And you've seen also, after Narendra Modi's projection, the Congress has upped its ante. All the public sector undertakings, the rollout from the public exchequer, and Gehlot being tightened up for performance, notwithstanding all the central largesse and all the state level largesse. If this state is taken by the BJP, clearly, in one-on-one contest between the Congress and the BJP,
what about the corruption?
BJP is winner.
What about the allegations of corruption? What about the indifference to the number of riots, communal riots which have taken place in Rajasthan?
unemployment, unemployment, huge unemployment.
But Ashok, how many such states are there where there is a direct Congress-BJP fight, where you will see a discernible shift towards the
certainly a vast number of seats in Western India and North India, and of course UP, where they do compete in urban areas.
About 220 seats odd where one could see this kind of a contest. And given the best case scenario and looking at
the real important issue is that a lot of people in the Congress feel that in the last few weeks and months, Ashok Gehlot could have covered some ground with some of the schemes that he started in Rajasthan. But that's not evident from this survey, which says shows that the BJP has gone up in July from 15 number to 19 now. So it is Vasundhara Raje, it is really the BJP which is experiencing the Vasundhara Raje plus
Modi
kind
national
of
election.
Modi strategy.
Yes, Ashok. Yes.
No, but we're also looking at national elections. There's also the anti-incumbency.
State anti-incumbency.
There's also the anti-incumbency against the centre, which is huge.